In this video, I'm going to go over the toolbar, the last of the toolbar, which is 13 through 17, Distort, Stencil Bridge, Zoom, In, Ruler, and Pan. So the Distort tool is kind of a fun tool. And what I'll do here is I just typed out some text. I can right click and ungroup it. Alright. Then I'm going to go ahead and select these three letters and click on Distort. And it's going to give me 4 nodes. Let me zoom in here a little bit. Alright. And I can play around with these and manipulate these 3 letters however I would like. So I'm going to go ahead and left click and hold shift in this box and this box. Alright, and then I'll zoom out a little bit and I'll go ahead and select these 3 letters and click on Distort, and I'll zoom in a little bit. I'll left click in this node, hold shift and bring that down, left click in this one and hold shift and bring this one up. And now you can see that I've created a fun little word, right? Now I can go ahead and select these and I can change them to whatever color I want. I can have each one a different color. You know, I'm not going to go ahead and go through that for each one, but then when I am done, I can select all of it, right click, and group it back. Okay. So Distort can be fun. Play around with it. I know I had, if you saw my sneak peek videos, I had done something like this. Okay, so that's the Distort. And then you have the Stencil Bridge. Okay, the Stencil Bridge tool is where you can make your stencil for lettering, obviously, right? So if I didn't want to keep these centers of my letters when I'm like weeding vinyl to make a stencil for, you know, a piece of wood or even cake decorating or whatever, that's when you would use the Stencil Bridge. So I'll go ahead and select that, and then you have an option up here which, if you use the arrows, the lowest you can go is 100, and that's a pretty wide bridge. Let me zoom in here on this word. Okay. As you can see, that's pretty wide. So you can type in a value. I'm going to go ahead and type 0.020, and then I'm going to go ahead and zoom in on these 2 letters here. Alright, so then when I come back to my Stencil Bridge at 0.020, I can make a stencil here, and I can do it any direction I want. Okay, I can do it however I'd like. So I'm going to start here at the bottom and make one right here, and then I'll make one right here, and then I will come over here to these 2, and I'll make one here, and I'll make one here just for the fun of it. Alright, so now when I zoom back out and I take this stenciled word, this one is not stenciled, and I select all and go to Object Merge, what that does is, if this were a piece of vinyl and I pulled it up, my letters would be left behind and the insides of my letters would be left behind. However, if I pull it up on a stencil, it's going to pull up the centers of the letters as well, because the centers of the letters are connected to the piece of vinyl, right? They're connected by this stencil here. So that's how STENCILBRIDGE works. So then that brings us to the zoom tool, and you've seen me use that. So if I need to zoom in on these circles here, I can just left click and drag, and it zooms me right in. Now if I go back to fit page, and I can increase here, decrease here, and then this one, I believe, if I have my circle selected and I go to my zoom tool and I click on this, it's going to zoom me into whatever is selected. Fit to page, I believe, is what that is. It just zooms you back out to. It's the same as if you were to do Control F. Okay, and then you have your percentage here. You can, increase or decrease that however you want. So that's the zoom tool. And then we come to the ruler. So I'll come over here and grab my draw tool and go to my documents and show my grid. And I'm going to go ahead and zoom in here a little bit. And with my draw tool, I will come along this grid and just draw something out here. And hit enter. Okay, and then I can turn the grid off. And I can select this and come to my fill and stroke. I can make this black, and I'll actually increase the stroke a little bit so it's easier to see. Okay, so with the ruler selected, I can left click. Let me go ahead and zoom in close. Alright, with the ruler selected, I can left click on this here and hold it down and drag it to this point here. And then you can see up here it gives me my XY, my width and my height, and my distance and my angle. Alright, so if you need precise measurements for something, then you could use the ruler for that. I could start at this point and drag all the way up to this point, and then it gives me my distance and my angle. So that's how the ruler works. And then we have the last tool, which is the pan tool. So I have a circle down here that I want to get to. If I click on pan, I can just left click and see this little hand. It moves my mat around where I can get to where I need to be. Alright, so that's it for the tools. Thanks for watching.